we met our heroes. Not really. Our benign workers of the Regions Company, working for a meager 20 green marks a week, or maybe it's 100. I can't quite recall.
I think we know.
I mean, at this point, I'm not sure.
I think it was more than 20, but
I think it might be 100 green marks a week.
It was not. It was like 15 green marks a week for each of us.
We'll have to go back and check.
Maybe it is
no,
20
it
because
was not 15.
maybe you're thinking 100 because
It was
there's
very
like
low,
5
I
of us?
remember.
Or is there more than 5 of us?
There's like
There was more than 5.
There was 5. No, initially there was 5 of us, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 7 of you.
Yeah, but Cobes wasn't there at the start.
Yeah, that's true.
So I guess it was 6
Cobes
of
was
us.
there at the
Nah.
first session where you talked to that guy. Because I remember Ballywick complaining about him talking too much.
Isn't 15
I thought he
green marks
specifically couldn't
starting?
make a bunch of
Yeah, I
sessions.
couldn't make like the first 3 sessions.
Yeah, you were on that yoga retreat. That's
yeah.
right.
Tom's brain's all jumbled up. It's been a while.
he was there. I remember him complaining about that guy. For sure. For
I think
sure.
it
I
was
remember
300 marks a week.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that.
Well, either way, I think we've also discovered that we don't think they're worth
get back to that,
anything.
yeah. They're not worth a whole lot, but they could be worth something in the nation of Greencoin. All that to say, you guys are hired slaves, servants of this company, and you went about their work immediately. The job description seemed like it was mostly going to be a protection racket for this town, dealing with its problems. But that's not what your first week turned into. What y'all accomplish in your first week of service?
Accomplish?
Well, what y'all do?
A handful of things. We ventured out into the marsh and met with a hag who gave us a map of skin, which we used to navigate through the swamp. We met a man who...
Hold on. What else did she give you?
I
That weren't the only thing she
mean,
gave you.
Some
Nude
nude eyes.
she
Yeah.
gave us some things.
Uh,
She told us that she's got eyes all over the place,
fear for our lives.
and that she would visit the town, I think.
She did say that she was coming to visit the town because the ranger, Gallon, is gone. And I don't know why
yes.
that seemed like an opportunity for her. She said that the town needed some protection. And she also gave you a whistle.
Oh, that's right.
So that's something to...
So whistle?
Yeah, she gave us a whistle. I think I actually have it. That's
This
like
is
if we
this
need
is an
any help.
exact repeat of this conversation because I reminded you guys you had it last week too.
Last week, he says. You mean last
Or
month?
last session. So yeah, there's a whistle. And it's to contact her.
That's what I thought.
Presumably. So yes, you are in possession of that. It's a tiny little skull you have to blow into. A little spooky.
Tiny
but yes,
skull whistle, yeah,
continue.
And she had like called off like this swamp creature, alligator thing that was gonna snap up Mr. Story. We ventured further out and met a man who had a little campsite closer to where our destination was, and he let us stay the night with him. He kind of talked to me about the old times. Specifically, thought he had an object that may have been forged from those times, but didn't really seem to make anything of it. He did some like dagger gesture and like stabbed himself, but it seemed when he pulled the dagger away there was nothing there. I don't think we really know what was going on with that, but that definitely happened. Some people were sus of him, some people weren't. We left the next day, met with the what were they called? Bollywogs?
Bollywogs?
And
Bullywugs.
the Frog Lords, but not before being beset upon by spoders that had, I don't know what you call it,
Mutant spiders.
literally like extra daggers on their mandibles or their feet or whatever.
Yeah.
It was some shit.
Mandibles.
But we
A
beat
couple of
them.
you guys went down, but you guys fucked them up. And
Literally, like all of us except one went down. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then we met with the like god bullywug creature who allowed us to drain one of
God
the
bullywug.
trees.
Yep.
And then we got the green blood, I think it's called, and he gave us a short sword, a magical short sword, that lets us that person traverse the swamp a little bit more easily.
Mhm.
And then when we came back, we saw that the gentleman's camp, who we stayed at, the camp that we stayed at, was being interrogated, and his camp searched by another man. We stopped to investigate, determined that that guy had... He said that he had a warrant for the guy's arrest because he had stolen gold from the... whatever this region's company is. The region company, literally.
Mhm.
Okay.
The Nation of Green Coin.
The Nation of Green Coin. And we kind of convinced him that we could like travel together back to Greenmire or Fairmire. And we did, but I had convinced Holgrim to maybe try to sneak out at night and talk to the captive, whose name I struggled to remember. And in doing so, he was confronted by the bounty hunter.
He's a Knight of Karn.
And he is a Knight of Karn.
So, just some recaps on the points that you did for the most part hit. That spirit that spoke to you, the bullywug god, as you called it, talked about a couple of other things, and mentioned some things specifically, some problems that the bullywugs were having. Does anybody remember the
I do.
two things that the bullywug god was
There's
concerned
the-
about?
Spirit of consumption in the south, and these weird mutant creatures up in the north.
That's right. Yep. So that's where those mutant spiders are coming from. I think that he may have even mentioned a tower, or someone has at some point, of location where these things are coming from. But then also that spirit of consumption to the south is concerning. He was particularly frightened of it, and said that they would be departing those lands as soon as they could, even because of the issues that are presented to those bullywugs. And that spirit, for whatever reason, feels compelled to take care of them. And then this stranger that you met in the marsh, this Brent Kinser. He had that dagger going on. And what was another reason that you guys were suspicious of it?
He was a Knight of Karn.
No.
It's because he was fishing with playing the song or whistling or doing.
Oh,
something
that's right.
of
Yeah,
that
yeah.
nature.
Yeah, it was.
He was
Yeah.
whistling the tune.
That's right. Yes.
Linda was convinced,
Mhm.
for character-wise. Our friend Oakley, not so much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I picked up on whatever you picked up on. I just thought the
I
guy
think
was
I
a
spelled
nice
I
fellow.
spelled it out for you, after the
I'm
whole
sure
thing.
you did.
Certainly though. So yes. And when the whatchamacallem, the Knight of Karn, whose name is Carver, was in that encampment, he was searching for something in that encampment. He didn't make it expressly clear. He just made it say like jewels, valuables from one of the governors of a port city, and yes, he stole some gold. essentially. And so he was concerned about that, trying to find it. Didn't find it, but was convinced that this guy was the thief.
Yeah.
In his searching, and in general, you did notice that in your times traveled, I'm not sure if this was called to attention, but you did notice that the gentleman, Brent, did not have his weapon on him, and it didn't appear that Carver had taken possession of it either.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that he was like, well, Carver was like, he had some dagger that was like an identifier, or that he stole it or something. And obviously, we kind of knew right away that this guy had that dagger, but didn't draw that. You know, we didn't tell Carver that.
Yeah,
so.
you did not expressly say to him that this guy was the thief, or confirmed it to him. But Carver's convinced.
Sure.
And you guys tried to talk to him in the middle of the night, but Carver apparently was kind of keeping a close eye on that situation. There was some type of ruse that he had set up, an image, and he was invisible at some point as well. So, yeah, seems like the character, this Carver character, is a dangerous fellow, one not to cross. You guys returned back to the town, and what did your characters notice?
Well, it looked a lot gloomier than when we left it. The townsfolk seem a little more dejected, I would say. And I think Edith specifically was like super depressed or something. I don't know. I just remember that standing out to me. Yes.
So Edith, this person who was kind of like a light in the town, along with Gallon, they had a nice blooming and budding relationship, and she was just a very kind person to most of the townsfolk, so far as they attest. She, according to the people you've talked to, has changed. You have not yet spoken with her. You guys stayed that first night at the inn. You met Carver's counterpart, rather. Pasha, who is some type of other member of the Knights of Karn. Not exactly sure what her purpose is, what she's doing. She does seem to have some magical capabilities because she mended some of your clothes. And I think that Holgrim was a little sus of her asking some of the questions that she was asking, because it kind of seemed like she was fishing for information. And she eventually did take Belinda and Theo aside and do basically the same thing. Like, she was definitely fishing for information from you. To what end, not exactly sure. You delivered the vials of the green blood to Sasha, I think is actually her name. Just double check. Yeah. Sasha Aberna, the alchemist. So now we have a Sasha and a Tasha. But the Sasha, the alchemist in that town, and she was she has a bit of a different look to her than she had previously, and then she had quite a few visitors, and they were indulging themselves when you had arrived. You had plans to meet up with I believe Nettles at some point. You had plans to speak with the prisoner once again. The prisoner was leaving fairly early in the morning on this day that we are now approaching, actually interacting with, as we close up the recap. But I think your first intention, as far as I can recall, but you can feel free to change it, was to go speak with Edith.
Yeah, I think we did want to speak with her first. I know we wanted to do like 4 things. I can't remember what order.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we were made aware that he was like leaving early in the morning. Because we made it. I don't know if she'll honor it or not. Now that she was so easily given information by our party.
Yeah, that was cringe.
But I did have a deal with her that if I would tell her all we knew if I got to speak with Mr. Brent. And then we also wanted to somebody, I don't remember who, had told the Knights of Karn previously about something that sounded kind of like the spiders, and they supposedly looked into it and didn't find anything. And we were going to go give that a look ourselves.
Yeah, we
some
wanted
point.
to take a look at that before the end of the day.
So, the
But as
hat. Oh, go.
small note, the conversation we had in that room was not had in front of you guys. As far
Right.
as you know,
we don't know about
I
it.
don't know anything about it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, your plan is still like, oh yeah, this is gonna work. And she did let us know that she's still gonna let you guys do your thing.
We'll see.
As far as that goes. Well, that's what she said. At least last we left off.
Yes.
I can't remember what she said to us.
That our male party members seem a little silly. She fixed our clothes.
I remember that.
Time. And not because I definitely wasn't taken in by Brent, anyways. As far as our other party members are, but other than that, she's like, "Well, I'll see you guys more frequently in the future and stuff, and feel free to come talk to me about other stuff as well too."
Yeah, I
just
don't
wanted
think
to
that you
make sure
actually gave up as much information as that she
No, we
wanted.
didn't.
Yeah.
We advised her slightly of some of the stuff, but it was like, no, it's not going to really be a problem. But it was like she just wanted to make sure if there was something that was detrimental to the town that she knew about it. And we told her just to let these guys do their thing. And yes, they would tell her they weren't going to hold that information.
Yes, and so there's also so that person that you were going to investigate that had difficulty with the spiders was Yams in his farm. There were some signs that some creatures had been roaming on his farms, and that was the lead, quote unquote, that the Knights of Karn looked into. Didn't find anything, and so you guys had the objectives of speaking with Edith, speaking with Yams, or going and investigating the farm of Yams. You had Nettles, speaking with Nettles, and you also had speaking with Brent. Those were the 4 things on your docket for the day. And we approach morning, meal taken, bellies full. What do our companions approach next?
I think we should talk to Edith first, and then talk to Brent right afterward, and then everything else in whatever order we want.
Seems reasonable.
That's my
that sounds
opinion,
good to
unless
me.
anyone disagrees.
I think we should do the Yams thing last.
I agree.
But yeah, that sounds fine.
All right.
We'll make our way up to Edith then.
So you guys depart from the bog bottom inn, making your way the few short steps needed to arrive at the quartermaster for regions in this city, right up alongside the docks from which you departed most recently on your adventure. As you approach, you can see that the docks are more active than you've seen them in the past. You can see, oddly enough, some furniture and odd alchemist supplies being loaded onto the ship fairly easily, and you can even see Miss Sasha Aberna dressed but looking rather hungover, kind of snapping at some of these men as they carry items from in town onto a ship. As you guys cross over the street to the quartermaster, assuming no one stops or asks anything, you arrive at a fairly comparatively quieter scene, as there are just a few gentlemen who are kind of talking with an older man It is probably mid-50s, very gray, very thin hair, and they're discussing, as you can vaguely overhear, just some tools and getting some more supplies for the town in general. What do you do?
I'm gonna walk in there. Say what's up.
So, all right.
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
still going.
We're just gonna walk in.
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, yeah, you guys are in this quarter house, stacks of supplies, generally useful items for the townsfolk, and a fair number of weapons of war as well, hanging on the walls and set amongst the floor. There is the gentleman whom you assume to be Samuel. Samuel Wiles speaking with those looks like farm folk. And as he sees you all approaching and entering in, he looks a bit more concerned, like he's awakened from the mundane interaction that he's having. But it is not excitement. It's kind of like a dread that he approaches you with.
Oh no.
Who's Samuel? Is
That would be Edith's father,
okay.
who is the actual quartermaster of this town.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right.
Edith just helps run it at times.
Sure. All right.
He approaches you. You've been gone for a week, and things rightly have gone to shit. But I'm glad you're here. I trust your quest went well enough. Seems Sasha's headed out of town right quick.
Aye, we came back with what we were tasked with. Although this town seems to have been befallen over by some kind of darkness. Can you tell us anything about that?
Oh, rightly, I think it's just Edith. She wails. She's got sores all over her body. Hair's fallen out. Lost 10, 15 pounds. She's a right mess. And at this moment, Sasha leaves.
Seems a rather serious affliction to set on so suddenly. When did it start? How shortly after we left?
Not but 4 days ago, I'd say. Please, come. The seer. Don't know if you'll get much words out of her, but... and he kind of leads you back through a hallway where he opens up a locked door, and it looks to lead into their living quarters that are adjoined with this building. Takes you down past the quaint living room / kitchen area, and knocks on a door, and you can hear some sniffling on the other side as he waits a moment for a reply, doesn't get any. He kind of looks at the rest of you, gives you a hand to wait a moment. Then he opens the door, steps inside, closes it behind him.
So we're just sitting out here on our own.
Yeah, you guys are just sitting in a hallway right now.
Well, this search doesn't seem very good, does it?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm wondering if we might need to talk to this witch or hag. I mean, wondering if she's responsible for all of this. How quickly after we talked to her... The man said this happened to Edith about, 4 days ago? We've been out for 7. So the 3rd day out.
Why would she target Edith, though?
I don't know, but I can't think of any other source of this.
I think it makes sense. If it was her, she said she has eyes everywhere. She knew who we were, what we were. She probably knows that a lot of people. I mean, when we first got to town here, everyone was just talking about how much they loved the girl.
Right, she seemed
And
like
that seems like
the
a
light of the town.
like a like a pillar. So you tear one down, the rest come falling.
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, we can do something with that a bit later after we take care of our other tasks. Maybe
Well,
after we question everyone else.
I do think they expect us to wait here.
Right, I'm not saying that we take off at this point. I just thinking about what we can do.
And after those few moments, you see the door open, and it opens wider as this bedraggled man steps into the doorway and says, I couldn't rightly rouse her, but please, just if you can see, if any of you have any medical knowledge, just please take a look at her. And he kind of steps out of the doorway and allows
I'll
you
shuffle in there.
Mm-hmm.
Is the room big enough for us all to reasonably go inside, or?
It's gonna be a tight fit, but you could reasonably squeeze in there. And he kind of like opens the window to this room and tries to get some air.
How does she look? I mean, obviously he kind of described, but like in more detail now that I can see her.
Yeah,
How
so
bad does
she's
this boilless infection look?
yeah, so she's got some brown blanket covers on, but it seems the father's kind of rolled them back a little bit and brought her arms out, and you can see that there are it's not a lot of them, but there are a few almost black pustules that are on her arms that are maybe 2-3 centimeters in diameter, and they kind of maybe are more prominent around her wrists and less so as they go up her arm. You can see that she's very pale and that she has lost a lot of weight. She was kind of a bit thicker before, and now she almost is looking like gaunt in the face. You can see that there are strands of hair that are around her pillow, that she's been losing a lot of her hair, and she does not look good. As the father kind of assesses you and your response, and he gestures over to a set of salves and potions that are set on a nightstand, and says, "First sign of it, I contacted Sasha and I asked her to take a look at her, and she recommended these. I ain't seen them do nothing."
What is he showing us?
There's just salves and
Okay.
potions. Difficult to discern exactly what they are.
Can I inspect them?
Yeah, certainly. Which would you like to inspect first, the salves or the potions?
Probably like the potions, and like, I don't know, take a look, swirl them around.
While he's
see
doing
if
that,
they.
I'll let you do that first. But while he's doing that, I want to like see if I can find like, does this look like this is more of like a infection stemming from a particular like place on her, or does it look like it's some kind of other affliction? I don't know, like maybe even. I guess I'm trying to determine if this is like a natural disease or if it's some kind of like magic.
Sure. From what you can see right now, there's not like any open wounds or anything like that, but she is fairly well covered.
Sure. Okay. Well, Tonknife can do his thing first.
Sure. Go ahead and you take the items from Samuel, and you can make a I don't have D&D Beyond up. I usually use that to determine what I'm actually going to tell you to do. Let me pull it up real
Nature,
quick.
medicine.
Yeah, I would do a medicine check here. Seems reasonable. Or I would say nature or medicine, whichever you prefer.
Pull the
Damn.
trigger.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the salve and just in one fell swoop, the salve and the potions, they seem to be common drops that you would consider conjuring up for someone who is suffering from some type of disease. They're not like incredibly potent or incredibly powerful things. It's not like it's going to do the trick, but it can help aid the body's natural process in fighting off diseases and infections.
So I don't think that she got like duped them or anything.
No, not at all. And they seem to be even fairly high quality stuff. Like she did a good job, and there's good ingredients. Like you can smell some of the processes and then the ingredients that were used, and you're like, oh yeah, this checks out. If I were to work something up for myself, I would have done the same, or I maybe not wouldn't even been able to do it as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, they seem like this is the kind of thing I would give a person in such a state. So, that is a bit concerning. Means we need to find a different solution. I don't know. Maybe it's like a curse or something.
Can I look around for her feminine products? That sounds bad. I'm looking for like powders, makeup, anything she might typically use like on a daily basis, because I'm looking for some poison is what I'm looking for.
Sure. Probably on that same nightstand in some of those drawers, there's some of those things. There's not a lot that she would have, but some touch up and stuff like that. Some manner of medieval products. Yeah. You find those items. Go ahead and make similarly a medicine, nature check, or even an investigation check would probably work here. They all seem run-of-the-mill, standard stuff, and they don't seem contaminated, old, or defective in any way. You touch some of it to your skin, you don't start immediately boiling up. You're not irritated in any way. It doesn't seem like there's any problem there.
I'll mention after I'm like dabbing with her makeup a little bit, and kind of say as I look over to Theo, I would have figured poison. Maybe I'm just used to that.
I mean, it looks pretty poisonous to me, so yeah. Not
Poison
far off,
or
I
a
don't
curse? Why would anybody do this to Edith? She's the kindest person in town.
Well, the only other thing it could be is she's dying of a broken heart, but I've never seen a broken heart cause boils. A hair loss, maybe, but not boils.
She weeps like it. What does she have to be broken heart over?
Oh.
I'm just gonna look at Holgrim like, what?
I mean, we are talking about Edith, right? Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Her, the love of her life, the light of the town. I don't know. Left.
Surely, you, Mister, you knew about her and Galen.
Galen?
Oh boy.
I was stare daggers at him and like everyone else, and Holgrim especially. Holgrim, could you check him? I don't know medicine, and Holgrim looks best for it. I say in defense, I'm taking a laugh.
It's not that weird that her daughter wouldn't tell her dad about, Our new man.
But everyone knew who Mr. Gallon was, isn't that the case?
Quite indeed. You do not remember Galen, do you?
Can't say I rightly heard the name before in my life.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's what he means.
Right. Oh, do I have Detect Evil? No, I don't.
And even as you guys are kind of like recollecting this man to Samuel, his image in your head is a little fuzzy for someone you just met a week ago.
Is there
Tyrion.
paper and a pen, like a quill somewhere?
I was gonna ask the kid to draw it. He seems.
I can
I can do it.
Oh, okay,
Hey,
yeah.
kid, can we please keep calling him that?
That's fine.
I wasn't trained in drawing, but honestly, like my character is not going to be good at this, whatever this check is. So yes, Tyrion should do this.
I can collect something for you here. And he walks around you. Comes back a few moments later with some parchment and a quill, ink.
I'm not going to be useful for this. I have nothing
I
prepared
can
for it.
totally do it. I'm sure.
What are you doing exactly?
Well, what do you guys want to do? I can probably sketch what he looks like, and we can take down some information, like things, probably important things, before we lose everything.
Draw his face as
Yeah.
best you remember, and then we'll recall everything about him on that paper. Like a wanted poster.
And then a message to our future selves.
Yeah,
Yes, we no
seriously.
longer will remember him either. What I am curious about, and maybe Holgrim or somebody else would know anything about this, why would the ones who knew him the least remember him the most?
Because you got it all wrong. He's the one. The guy you think Brent is. It's that guy, Gallon. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
No, but I'm willing to hear your hypothesis.
Well, think about it. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, if you met him, you'd forget him." Well, these people certainly met him, and they forgot him. Not only that, but the lady, the creepy big giant hag one, said that Gallon left, so they needed to protect her. So maybe he's in a league with her or something, because she didn't seem like a very good protector to me.
Oh, no. I think she was coming into the town to eat children, is what I was getting from that conversation.
Yeah.
What are you all talking about? What is all this? Please, my daughter is dying. I don't care about some random man. I've never heard of him. I don't think he has any relevance to this. She's dying of some disease.
Yeah,
I don't know
ignoring
anything
him and
about
just
curses.
drawing.
I'm gonna need you to just take a seat. You are also afflicted by some sort of disease, because you don't know the guy we're talking about, who is the guy who held our previous position and was, by all accounts of everyone in this town, yourself included, 1 week ago, the best thing the best man in town, the solution to all your problems. So the fact you don't know who he is means there's something fucking wrong with you. We're gonna try and figure it out.
He just kind of shakes his head and he sits down in a chair opposite of the bed. And you can see that Edith is kind of stirred a little bit, and you can see her eyes are open. She's kind of staring blankly at the ceiling, and she's just weeping.
I do have one question for you, Mr.
Samuel.
You're familiar with the Knights of Karn, yes? There's two of them in town?
Yeah.
How long have they been here?
Oh, I can't rightly. I think like 4 or 5 days, something like that. Close to a week.
Interesting. Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
All right. What are you all doing?
I'm still sketching his face.
Make a history check.
I'll try to
With
point out
advantage.
things I remember as he's sketching and being like, no, like the eyebrows higher. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
His jaw was a little more chiseled.
Oh, the most chiseled jaw, of course.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
I was like,
Okay. So you guys work together as you're like all standing over Kieran's shoulder. So he draws this. And he has to like go through multiple scraps of paper as he does this little sketch, and then you go like, no. It was like this. No. It was like this. And you come up with what you guys believe to be a very accurate depiction of Gallon as you last remember seeing him about a week ago.
You guys want to write a note to ourselves about this too?
Hi, put hey, party
Hey.
members. This is important information that you can't forget.
But we
Sign,
will
and
forget.
then we'll all sign our names
Yeah.
in our own writing, so we know it was us.
we should include the fact that he was, as far as we know, the original protector of the town. And that everyone has forgotten him. And then, yes.
But then under that put might be shady.
Might be
Holgrim's
shady.
initials directly next to that comment.
P.S.
Write all this down for your
I
own
am.
recollection. Yeah.
I am.
Hey, Samuel. Who
And then post it somewhere.
handsome Hercules guy.
Actual Chad.
Just write that.
I want to, like, slide in next to Eve, like, kind of, like, whisper in her ear, because I'm gonna be suspicious about this, that, if
I
you're
want to
trying
watch the
hold on
dad
to
while she's
him-
doing that. Sorry, go ahead.
Just that, I want to tell her, like, if she's, like, trying to hold on to him and that's what's hurting, like, she should let him go, because it's killing her.
Damn.
She
Uh-oh.
sobs audibly and shudders, but continues to cry.
I'll look back at Theo.
I
Well,
just look at you with
talk
this
reason into
terminal.
people.
Say that
Like,
again.
I'm just like, we're sharing that moment where I'm like, I've had this conversation before, and I'll stand up and walk away.
I'm sure you have.
All right.
Okay.
Samuel, if you don't remember who Gallon was, who was employed before we were.
I'm just I'm writing it all down.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
else you guys want to add to this before I? Hey, party, look. We want to find this guy. It's Gallon.
Also put in
P.S.
green marks are
He
worthless.
Also, P.S. He did, the last thing he said before he left was that he did want us to protect the town.
Yeah.
So, really strong, chiseled Adonis might come kick our ass when he comes back, just side note.
He might come back and kick our ass. Okay. PSS.
He personally took care of one of those, possibly the blade spiders by himself. He took care of a big spider when we first showed up that killed a lot of us, if that was the same kind of spider. And just saying,
Yeah.
we're screwed. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you spell
So
his first name? Is it just
GA
As
L-
spirit of
yeah.
consumption.
like? Say it again, Tom.
Spirit of.
Yeah, put that in. We need to know about that. We don't want to forget that.
GALEN.
Okay.
What are you writing about the spirit of consumption? Are you just writing spirit of consumption?
Yeah,
Like,
what is
I feel like
No
these guys
context.
are just like taking the quill from me and then adding random fucking words to.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. Boy, you're too slow.
Too slow, boy. So you,
Samuel-
Theo, you asked him who was the protector of the town before you. And he thinks on it a moment. Well. Well. Um. I think not but 6, 7, maybe 8 months past. We've had I think his name was Grin or Grint, something like that. He wasn't around for long, couple weeks. There's another Regions guy. And then of course we've got Castle and Rook. They're still around.
Grint, you said.
Yeah, something like that.
Could it have been Brent by any chance?
It's possible. He was only here for a couple weeks.
You remember what the lad looked like?
Oh, I can't rightly say that I do. I didn't see him much. He was out and about. I just remember.
Alright. Carry on.
Are you gonna help her? Are you gonna get to the bottom of this?
We're gonna try. I don't think we have any remedies on hand, but it'll be our priority.
Can't
I'm
do
gonna go talk
anything.
to.
Check her out. Did we think, like, is it magical or?
It's not obvious.
Not to me.
You guys didn't necessarily investigate her particularly well. You investigated the salves and the potions. You investigated her products around the room. But
I'm good at medicine to actually like look at her.
I mean,
Not
I'm not proficient, but I have +3, so I will.
I did the things I'm good at.
I can start looking her body over more closely. If someone wants to help me.
I'll help you out.
Okay. I'll just like slowly try to peel back clothing to spots where I feel like the infection looks, or whatever it is, looks more severe, to see if I can find some kind of origin point.
Sure.
9.
9. It's readily apparent that this seems to be more allocated towards joints. It seems so.
Okay.
Around her elbows, her wrists, her hands, shoulders seem to be locations where the pustules seem to be more common.
Very bubonic plague vibes. Alright. I'll point that out. But in any case, it does seem like it is an actual disease.
Is there like any sort of odor to them that's different than just like normal?
Make a
diseases?
perception check. You've been around dead bodies before.
Oh gosh.
It seems as though you get the sense and the scent of smell of decay and rotting flesh from this woman. But she is also
Glenda.
just kind of stinky.
Glenda, do you have anything that would help
Stinky.
her?
Well, I could. If it's, you give me the description of it.
She smells like she's dying.
Maybe. I don't know if necessarily magic would work, but I do have that other thing I can do. As holy as I can get. Let's try that. I'll try to expend some an action of my whatever my healing ability is with the Celestial Warlock, since it's the gift of a holy being. I'm hoping that that'll work better than just like a healing magic would.
Sure. Well, you can go ahead and expend it. Is it a set amount of healing or is it a roll?
It is a roll, and I need to click it. So I'm only going to expend one just to see if there's any effect on it. It's a 1d6. I can roll out for the healing. That's pathetic, but it still happens.
Still happens. Where do you set this healing upon her?
I would try to see if I could get any effect, like in the most. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe not in the most. But just off the edge of like one of the freshest looking boils, not one of the most gross ones, but like the most recently infected area to see if there's any effect points where it's actually like spreading out.
Yeah. You channel your healing energies into her, and for the briefest of moments, she is breathing easier. You can see that some of her more natural color returns to the area that you've provided healing. But it doesn't seem to be a permanent fix to this situation. And she is not noticeably better apart from what I have described.
I think it's safe to assume unless we stop this will become fatal for her.
No, you can do more of that. You've got the power. Please, give her something more.
I could do that. I don't think it will. The little bit did help her.
Yes.
It won't ultimately stop the disease, lad. But we will find a cure.
If it's just a comfort for her at this moment, then please.
I'll expend my two more my healing light on her real quick then.
How quickly is this progressed for her?
This was over the course of 4 days.
Well,
yeah.
like
Are you
to
asking
Samuel.
specifically to
Yeah,
Samuel?
like how quickly, how bad did it get? How quickly?
I think
Is it getting worse?
she was just sick. Had a cough and was a bit sore about 4 days ago. And then maybe it was sometime in the night on the third day that she started just weeping uncontrollably, so like she had lost something. She couldn't find it. She was just walking around kind of aimlessly. And then these sores started to show up maybe 2 days ago. And from there, she's just been bedridden. And as you allow this healing to go on to Edith, she does appear remarkably better. The sores are still present, but she is breathing easier, and she looks just like more healthy and more vital. But other than that, there's still a bunch of sores present on her. She still lost a lot of weight. She still looks like she's losing hair.
Oof.
She appear more lucid.
Not really. She's still crying, staring up into the ceiling. But Samuel kind of steps up, looks at her, grabs your arm, Belinda. Thank you. That's something. If you can ever do that again, please. I don't want to lose her. She's everything. She's all this town has.
I could tend to her once a day like that, but that is all I have for the day. I'm sorry, I can't do more. And it's not a fix is the problem that I see.
And please
If
do
you-
something about it.
Does
If you're
anyone
here to
else
protect
have
us, she's worth protecting more than any of us.
Aye,
Hmm.
we're gonna do our best.
I'm gonna
I-
pat his like hands just gently as he's talking about how much he loves his family member. I'm like kind of like as close as Belinda can to tearing up, but not actually doing anything like it.
Sure.
She wipes away a tear that's not there.
Quite actually, yes.
It's messed up.
All right. With your magic energies expended, what do you do now?
I think it's best we step aside. We need to talk about some things. And then we're gonna do what we can to figure this out. I promise. And I'll pat him on the shoulder and I'll turn to leave personally.
And it gives you a nod, and he looks like he's a little bit more hopeful than what what has occurred prior to this situation. So, you've given him some hope that the situation might be remedied. Go ahead as you guys step out back into their living quarters. He's appearing to stay with his daughter for the moment. And when you guys approach the quartermaster area proper, appears to be empty for the current moment.
Okay.
Well, that's because he would normally be manning it, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
That was a bit concerning. We
We
were right to
can't
come here
let
and make
her
this
die.
a priority.
I do have another theory.
Well, let's hear it then.
Potentially less crazy than maybe Gallon's that big bad guy man thing.
Who?
Maybe all that life that seems to be draining out of her is getting sucked into that alchemist lady. Because they say a couple days ago that she started looking completely different and like
Aye, she
young
did.
and fit.
Revitalized, even.
I don't know if the timetables line up, but it is a possibility we should consider.
We can pay her a visit, but I think we should talk to Brent first.
And
We should
Nettles.
also see if anyone else in this town remembers Gallon.
Aye.
We should just ask that question to everybody.
Have you met Gallon?
I think
Aye.
we should maybe be I think we should be careful.
Well, it's certainly obvious that someone here in the town is pulling the strings of whatever's going on here, so we do need to be a bit careful. But they also know that we were sent out and we're supposed to be the protectors, so they'll be expecting us to ask some questions, no doubt.
The other thing we might want to check on is the sap has rejuvenating properties, I believe. If that's not the case, that was the reason she claimed her hand was much improved as well, too.
True. But I guess what I meant when I said maybe we should be a bit careful is we shouldn't just go around asking everyone out in plain sight, because perhaps whatever's causing them to forget about this man is presumed to be working on us. So we should be careful about revealing that information to anyone who. I mean, we should ask certainly, but I don't know. Anyone we're suspicious of, we should avoid talking in front of about this. I think.
I worry that we'll forget by tomorrow who he is.
Oh no! Didn't you see his great little drawing? It's perfect.
Well, in any case, we can at least try to solve whatever we can today before there's even a chance for us to forget. I say let's get to move on.
I agree.
To Mr. Brent then.
I
Okay.
suppose.
So you guys are returning to the inn. You're not exactly entirely sure where this holding cell is. As it happens, you haven't only been here for so long. But you do see Tasha in the inn supping with old Carver, taking breakfast.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll approach her. Hey, uh, Tasha, was it? Is that right?
It is.
Are we going to be having that meeting we discussed?
She looks at Carver. And she takes a moment. Yes, that's fine.
Wonderful.
He's on the ship, awaiting his departure.
Okay, if I may, do you know what's up with the ship? What else are they loading on that sucker? Seems like a lot of stuff.
Tasha chimes in. I believe that the alchemist, Sasha Aberna, is heading north, from my understanding. We are going to be accompanying her towards Hammond's Port. In the sense that we're headed in the same direction. We're not actually going with her in any other capacity. I don't know her.
So your duties in this town are done? Is that correct? Or
Let's say
no?
that one more time.
You came here with some goals, I thought, like you're here to help protect the town, things like that. Are you done with that? Or
No,
you-
no. Certainly
part
not.
of that?
We have more duties here in this town, but first and foremost, we need to return this gentleman to his judgment.
I see.
But we will return as quickly as is able. Perhaps 3-4 days. But
Okay.
please, I think we're finished here, Carver. Let's go see what they have to say to Brent. And you guys are taken aboard the ship, taken below deck as well, and kill. No, and you are set before this caged area where there is a gentleman in shackles, still gagged, and he's just looking really fucked. But as worse for wear as he is looking, his eyes kind of get a little bit of gleam to him as you guys approach. Carver opens up the cage and draws his weapon, sets it at Brent's throat, and removes his gag. Ask your questions then. Quickly.
All right, fine, chill. Brent, how you doing? Given your circumstances. What's going on here? Is it true what they say? I needed to hear it from you because you're such a kind fellow to us, and they just tied you up with no evidence and proof.
Kind of clears his throat. Well, I'm not gonna confess to anything. That's for damn sure. I'll have my day in court.
Just so you know, didn't sound to me like they're taking you to court. Sounds to me like they're taking you to hang.
He kind of looks up at Carver, who kind of has a smile on his face, just nodding his head.
So if you have anything to say, now would definitely be the time.
I don't believe it. They wouldn't just hang me. They don't have any proof of anything. And I didn't do anything. But I will say, this situation is shit, and I wish I never met any of you.
Shit, I
Although,
didn't do anything to you, fucker.
We're nothing but good to you, Mr. Brent. I don't know why you need to use such harsh words. But
you're
I will
in league
say...
with them now, it seems.
Well, no. Our
Well, no, I'm not in
interests-
league with them.
If you're letting me to my certain death, take up arms. Kill these folk right now. I'm kidding. As he sees a little bit of blood kind of getting drawn from his neck. From the weapon.
Oh, great joke. Especially under such dire circumstances.
I'm trying to have a positive attitude.
Well,
Those
Yes.
were a couple good weeks out there in the marsh. I miss the fish.
Weeks.
Do you have anything more to ask?
well, yeah. If you're innocent, why didn't you say anything?
I obviously claim my innocence, and I still proclaim it. I didn't take anything from anyone.
Are you saying that when he put down his zone of truth, as he called it, you said you were innocent?
I, on a manner of principle, will not answer questions in such a situation. Very
I do.
likely. Carver chimes in.
Doesn't he know people in the town? Am I recalling that correctly?
That does sound kind of bad. Not gonna lie, Brent.
The questioners will get the truth from him regardless.
Wait. No, Kyrian, show him your photo. I'm curious.
Alright, I pull it out and show him. Do you know who this is?
He kind of looks at the paper. That's Gallon.
Well, look at everybody. You know who Gallon is?
It says it right there on the paper.
Oh, fuck. I put my hand over it. Do you know who this is?
That's Gallon.
Fuck.
Yeah, but do you know who he actually is?
No, I've never seen the man in my life.
I don't know why he wouldn't know who he is.
Looks
I think
quite
you mentioned
handsome,
something
though.
about knowing people in the town at some point.
I don't rightly remember. Hey, what about you, Carver? You do know who this is?
I cover up the name.
Been talking about it in front of him.
I know.
Can't say I've seen that man.
Name doesn't ring a bell?
Possible.
Mr. Carver, when did you first come through Fairmire?
A
Obviously,
couple days after us.
either just before or just after us. What time?
We arrived about 6 days ago. From my
Right.
understanding, you had been departed perhaps a day and a half since then.
And Mr. Gallon as well.
I
Would add up.
guess.
Do you know any? Is this your boat, or is this a boat that what's her?
It's a passing
Sasha?
merchant vessel.
Okay. You know anything about this Sasha lady? Do you trust her? Do you have a reason to?
Are you asking me?
Aye.
She's, from Tasha's understanding, a ambitious woman. But other than that, I don't have any opinions on her. She certainly changed over the past 4 days, though.
I'd watch that one.
Over the past 4 days, exactly.
Kind of judges in his mind. I would say so.
That's quite interesting. Someone else has changed quite dramatically in the last 4 days. And now she's suddenly leaving town with all this after we fought back. Quite revitalized, this one.
I will say that's just on the account of Tasha. I was here the first day I met her, and I've seen her yesterday. She was changed a lot in that time, but I didn't see the change occurring. I was out searching for this man and you.
We've
Yeah,
certainly
no.
had our differences. Obviously, apologies. Brent, I'm sorry. You're probably gonna have to get fucked because you just can't say anything useful to help yourself. It is what it is.
Look.
It sounded like an Always Sunny line.
Yeah, it did.
Is that really all that you're gonna do to help me?
Perfect.
Just say that I'm fucked?
I'm trying to help you.
After
not
all,
giving
that,
us a-
after all that I've given you.
You're not giving us anything to work with, Mr. Brent. I'd love to clear you. I had a great time talking to you.
Here's
But-
what I'll do for you,
It's just
and
not
it's not
working
really
for
for you, Carver, Tasha. I would implore you to not leave town like you're planning. I think it's your duty to protect this town, as you say, to make sure this Sasha lady does not leave. I think there's some very fucked up shit going on here, and I think she's part of it, maybe even responsible. And also, we just went on a dangerous fucking mission to bring her a bunch of shit for the town, supposedly. And she's just leaving with all of it? No. I think she needs to stay until she's clear. Because as of right now, she's my number one suspect for everything that's going wrong in this town.
What exactly is going wrong? I've sensed an eerier mood. What concerns do you have?
There are many. First of all, the spider things that are attacking. I know you guys looked into it and didn't find anything. Perhaps they moved on. I don't know. 2 days before you arrived, or maybe 1 day before you arrived, there was the attack that occurred on the party for the guy previously in town who's leaving. And right as soon as he left, the party was attacked, and the man who runs the inn and his son were assaulted by an army of rats. And I mean that truly, an army. Thousands. There was a very strange message we found here, threatening the town. We come back, a girl is seemingly dying and decomposing in front of our eyes. All the while, an old woman is coming back to life and revitalized right before our eyes. This woman should not be allowed to leave the town. She's a suspect.
Asha, what do you make of this? And she thinks for a moment. That isn't a lot to go on, but it is.
Well, you're arresting Brent here for
something-
fucking nothing, so I mean, can't be that picky.
We got you there.
That's Carver's prerogative. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, so far as we know, she's an upstanding citizen who provides services to this town. You can't apprehend her on no grounds.
Well,
Now,
there is one other
I
thing.
am.
She most certainly has committed one crime. Go look at her fucking house. She literally is poisoning the town. I'm serious. Have you seen it?
I've seen it. That's
Well.
not a crime.
Well, it fucking should be.
It's not a crime to poison the town. What laws
not
govern this
poisoning-
place if it's legal and not a crime to poison
Not
its own residents?
poisoning the town. It's the area around her own home. And yes, if it was a problem for other neighbors and they thought that they felt threatened by it, then certainly that there would be some type of local authority that
Have you
would
not
handle it.
noticed the change?
But you have to understand, we're not even part of Greencoin. We're Knights of Karn. You're asking. We are not vigilantes.
You certainly seem like it. You don't seem to have any allegiances other than to the coin, in your own militant, zealous fashion.
I've
Action.
explained to you our motives before, and I will continue to stand by them. Now, if this person is indeed causing serious issues amongst the town, by what means, by what method can we showcase this? And if it is something that she indeed is causing, wouldn't it be possible if her departure would remedy it in some way?
Not if she is literally pulling the life out of the other person. And if she intends to leave quickly, I imagine she intends to do so when Edith will be a corpse.
I do think it's quite strange she's leaving town. She said nothing of the sort. Last night when we were at her place, she even said, "Oh, we can talk about this later." We wake up and the bright of morn, she's just getting on a boat and loading up all her shit. Seems suspicious to me.
Perhaps this is a conversation that you need to have with Sasha Berna. I'd be happy to attend that conversation, but I don't feel comfortable heading it up, especially since this information that you've given me, I haven't seen it for myself. I don't even rightly know what you're talking about. All that to say, we are sending this man with Carver, at least. I am inclined, and she kind of questioningly says this towards Carver, to stay around town and assist you all, but I can't promise that that will happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to give Carver like big pleading doe eyes, like the two hands clasped in front. Oh dear Carver, please.
Take a
Surely
persuasion
you
check.
can handle this one small little fry.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Come on, warlocks.
Incredible.
I don't see any reason why I can't handle this myself. Tasha, if you think it's best to stick around with these well-to-do individuals, then please, by all means, I'll be back within the week. I can't help but feel, Brent chimes in, that I'm being overlooked in this conversation.
Who are you?
Brent,
It's
I
more that
told
you're
you
inconsequential.
to say whatever it is you needed to say, but you're unwilling to cooperate, it would seem. I don't know.
He
Brent, you told me
emphatically
that
looks
song.
at you and says, I have said all that I need to say. And if you'd listen, then maybe you'll come help me when the time comes.
What have you said? Can I get a refresher?
No.
Okay.
If he's been speaking in code, then it's a little too thick for me.
Carver kind of brings up the gang. I think I've had enough of him. Tasha, are you seriously staying here? Yes, I believe I am. There are some mysterious things afoot, and I don't feel comfortable leaving this town only in the hands of those present. We ought to help as best we can. And there are other things that we need to keep our eyes peeled for. Kind of looks at Carver for a moment longer, then looks back to the rest of you.
And there's also the warning. Holdrum, I believe now you could tell them.
Warning.
What?
Oh, amassing evil, all of that. I'm trying to remember the words actually, but that was the bit of information I think you were holding back in exchange for talking to Carver. The Bollywog King gave us a warning.
About the spirit of consumption?
Was it called a spirit of consumption? Yeah, maybe.
That it exists and that it's moving?
Who's saying
That
this?
could be the warning.
Or are you saying that as the DM?
I'm saying that as the DM.
Okay. I suppose we should tell them. I don't know. I still don't rightly trust them very much. But maybe Brent is really just guilty. He didn't really say anything to prove he's not.
I don't believe Brent's guilt was a matter of the exchange that just happened here.
I don't think he wants to say anything around the night, and there's nothing we can say to get him to do so. So he'll hang instead of say whatever he wants. He's also
Hopefully
told
not.
Holgrim that
Oh wait, no, the gag's on his mouth.
he told Holgrim that he's already said something that I don't know. I guess we were supposed to be listening real close to, but I don't remember what the guy's talking about.
Anyway, in exchange, our deal, as we talked about, I'll tell you what we encountered. When we left town, there's two things we encountered that, maybe three even, that are worth exploring. First of all, we encountered a really, really nasty old woman who we don't believe was a woman because she walked with the sound of a giant. She had a hut that moved through the swamp and all manner of nasty and I don't know. I would describe her as like a death witch or something. She was very nice to us, I suppose. But she said she had her eyes on the town and that she was gonna guard it or something. I don't rightly believe her, as I'm not very trustworthy, you might have found. Secondly, we saw a little girl who could control the swamp monsters with her whistle or something. Or not the monsters, I don't know. It's like the same thing that happened with the rats here in town. It's like they bend to someone's beck and whim, and I don't know. It's very strange. And all of a sudden, when she was telling us about how she learned such a thing, she completely forgot it. Then we met Mr. Brent. The only one who didn't seem like a fucking weirdo. But you know his story.
Yes.
And that's a good point, actually. Maybe the fact that Brent hasn't turned into a fucking psychopath means he's important. Or something.
He nods his head.
Who does?
Brent.
Anyway,
Yes, please continue.
Well, yeah, that was it. That was the three things.
That's all. Not that that's too little, but I believe you went and did other things past meeting Brent.
Well, yeah, we did other things. I just didn't think they were worth mentioning. As we said, we went to the Bullywugs. We got the sap that we were supposed to get, and we came back and we ran into you and Brent.
Make a deception check. Not that any of that is a lie. Maybe make a persuasion check, I guess.
It doesn't really. They're the same. Get fucked.
Okay.
That's
You
the
rolled
wrong
you
one.
rolled a d20, but
Our rolls are
They're
fucking
both
crazy
mod
tonight.
0.
yeah.
Another 3 crits in a row.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I do have a question. This woman, giant thing that you saw, stalking at the moving house. Do you recall her name? Was it, surprisingly enough to ask, Horace? Does that make any sense to you?
No, it was not Horus. Well, at least she didn't say it was. I've heard of Horus, the great swamp alchemist. I'd like to meet him one day.
But you don't know where he is.
Well, no. Otherwise, I'd go see him. Obviously.
You had no suspicion that this character might be the same? You said that they had random witchy things. Seems possible that it's that same character.
No, I really don't think so. Every description I've heard of Holgrim, not Holgrim, that's me. I'm Holgrim. Horus was that he's like an ogre. And this was not an ogre.
Steps of a giant.
Yeah, no, this is there's a difference between. Have you ever seen an ogre? They're not a giant. A giant is an ogre is big. Probably like 6 times my size. A giant, oh, that's more like 100 times my size. They're not the same.
I don't know if you're getting the numbers exactly right, which would lead me to believe that perhaps it's possible that you're misjudging that person's actual size. But all that's to say, this
No.
character
My
is not
descriptions
Horus.
of I know about Horus is that he's very jolly, and he like I don't know, he has got like a happy demeanor. Everyone who's the orcs who have told me about him when they used to come to my hut, which no longer exists. I'll remind you. Now, this lady, also it's a lady, not a man. That's clue number 1. Was vile and creepy, downright frightening.
You said that she was going to come to this town.
That's what she said. So,
Well, then it is certainly decided that I will remain here, Carver. If such a creature exists and has its eyes set on this town in particular, then it's going to need protectors. And very likely, such a creature, she's talking directly to Carver, she explains this, may have information that we desire. So, Carver kind of nods in agreement. Then it's settled. I will stay here, and Carver will deposit this Brent in Hammond's port. When he returns, we will investigate this further, but until then, we should hold a steady pattern of defense. Let's keep this town safe. Let's deal with the problems that we know as best we can. Does that seem reasonable?
That I think we could do.
All right.
I would tend to agree. But I think we definitely need to talk to Sasha before she gets on this fucking boat.
I'm pretty sure she's on this fucking boat.
We definitely need to talk to Sasha before this boat leaves then.
Feel free to do so. I'd be happy to watch that conversation, but I don't feel comfortable stepping in, given what I know, which is little.
Huh. Well, I think we'll go do that then.
She steps out of your way and gestures for the stairs.
I'm gonna pat Brent on the back. Hey, good luck, man. Hope to
And he
see you
just
again
kind of
one
looks
day.
at you very, very seriously. And when you say, hope to see you again one day, he kind of nods vigorously.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just start heading out of the room. I don't fucking know.
Sure. You step up onto the deck itself, and for the most part, it seems that Sasha Berna's gear and furnishings, even, are all on deck. And they're kind of getting ready to set off. It seems that they've acquired all of their cargo that was necessary, and they're ready to go about their rest of their day of sailing. She is sitting, holding her head between her hands on a bucket turned over.
Holding her head between her hands, like she looks sad or something, or what?
You can make an insight check if you'd like.
I would.
It could be that she's very sad. It's tough to tell.
How far away is she?
Yeah, maybe 20, 30 feet tops.
Sad or
guess
hungover,
I'll
because
turn
I
to
want Bollywood to like play some bagpipes in like 5 seconds here.
What?
If she's hungover, I want bagpipes.
She kind of moves her head between her hands and looks up as she can hear a crowd approaching her. She's like, "Oh, it's you guys again.
Hi.
How's it going?"
Not the best, if I'm being honest with you. The
Yeah,
town's
it's a
kind of
fucking terrible morning.
She refers
Hi.
to Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If I may ask, where are you going? And why are you going there? Are you leaving the town?
Oh yeah, yep. I'm going back to Skull for a little bit. I have, thanks
How
to
long
you
is a little
all.
bit? Out of curiosity?
Well, honestly, I hope to never have to come back here. But if I do, well, we'll see what happens. But I think with what you've given me so far, that green blood, that's gonna go pretty far. I will send what Nettles needs by similar manner as soon as I am ready with it.
And is there a reason you have to go to Skull for such a thing?
Well, I mean, they're not mutually connected. I don't. I'm sorry. Just tired. No, I think. Well, I'm going to Skull because of my research project, which is now mostly done. I have to do a little bit of finer points, but I think that this product is going to make me very famous, which is pretty awesome. And all that to say, I can use my connections to pay back my debt to Nettles, as he's helped me along the way down here, and hopefully we can get his wife up and chipper. All
Well,
good.
this stuff we gathered for you, it did a right good job of revitalizing you, did it not? Everyone in town's been talking about it. how you look different. And I noticed it as well.
Oh,
It's
thank
like
you.
So, I guess what I'm saying is it like brings like some life back in you, which makes sense based on what you told us about it. Is that true?
As you're kind of saying this, her daughter kind of runs over to her and jumps up on her lap. And oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, please just sit down. Sit down. I can't. What are you? What's your What are you thrusting at me here?
I'm not thrusting anything at you. I'm asking. That's what it does, yeah? Because if so, there's a woman in town who you made some purchases for who could really, really, really use that.
If you're talking about Edith, I gave her everything that I had that would help such a woman in such a condition. This
I
green
know.
blood, it
I
doesn't
inspected it
do what
myself.
you think it does.
Well, that's why I'm
That's
asking you. What does it do?
it's it's just important for me to know and for you to not worry about.
Oh my god.
I don't accept that answer.
It's capable of a lot. It's a powerful ingredient to a potion that might be useful to those who.
Your entire fucking arm came back. Answer my damn question, woman.
That's not connected. I promise. I just discovered some healing salves that worked particularly well. My arm didn't come back. It was already there. I took a wound on my trip and it recovered.
Yeah,
It's
a
not
hell of
that
a
big
wound.
deal.
Did you want to tell us what from, maybe?
Well, the bullywogs did not take particularly kindly.
I don't
To
think the
me.
bullywogs did that to you personally.
Well, you can think all you like. That's what happened. I took a hit from one of them as I was fleeing the scene, but I did collect what I needed, at least initially. I don't really feel like I need to be questioned by you, and
I think you do. See,
I'm
we're
not.
the protectors of the town.
Am I a threat to this town?
Well, potentially. I think you have some bad motives. Or if you don't have bad motives, then you should answer our questions, and maybe everything's fine. I find it
First
very
of all,
strange.
I'm not a citizen of this nation of Greencoin. I'm a citizen of Skull. And I was hired by Nettles to do something. I'm doing that something.
I was hired
I
by
don't
Nettles
have
to
any
do something, and I'm
obligation
doing
to
that
help out
something.
this town. I gave those salves and those potions to Edith for free.
I'm not saying you have an obligation to help the town. I'm saying you have an obligation to answer my questions before you leave.
Well, ask away. What do you want to know? And I'll answer them as best I can. But I'm getting tired of this conversation.
Well, you just told me you're not going to tell me the truth because it's not for me to know. I risked my life to
I'm
get
not going to
over
risk my livelihood, my project that I've worked on for 10 years on this conversation. It's important.
I
It's
just think you're not
powerful.
being very truthful. Because we went to the place where you got the sap, obviously, and I saw the amount of bullywugs there were, and I don't think you escaped like the way you did, just like that. I think there's more to the story you're not telling us for some reason, and we're trying to
I
get to the
used
bottom
a
of what the
potion
fuck's
of invisibility to sneak up if you want to know the specifics of the matter. And I had a plan. I looked at the situation, but I deemed it was too risky to return after I, one, took the wound, and two, realized that if I died, well, my life's legacy, including my daughter, would be in tatters. So I didn't want to risk my situation again. Does that make sense?
Not particularly, no, but just something doesn't sit right with me about it. You came to this town, you do your things. We were there last night, had a chat with you, and you're like, "Oh, I'll talk to you more tomorrow." And all of a sudden, you're up in the bright of morning, leaving town. It seems suspicious to me. Is that
I
unreasonable?
understand, but I was a little intoxicated last night, and I don't necessarily remember our conversation. I know that I got the green bud, and when I awoke in the morning, I was like, "Ooh, I need to get going because this stuff works."
Aye. And that's why I'm asking what it does, because I think you could help that woman. And you say you're not going to risk it or you don't obligated to. Well, maybe there's something we could work out.
It's not going to help her disease or whatever is happening to her.
Don't
It
you think
doesn't
it's
look
weird?
natural.
I know. That's why I'm suspicious, woman. Because what you look like isn't natural either.
Sasha, you got to
Accountants-
understand that the way this looks, right? We take off, get rid of your stuff. We come back. You look different. You look more lively, and she looks more, well, morbid.
Like
It
she's
just doesn't
decaying.
look good.
It feels, on first inspection, like you're just draining her life force or something.
I am an alchemist. I don't know any of this nonsense about magic and curses or anything like that that you say I'd be draining her life. That's ridiculous. Okay? I don't know any of that. Anybody
Right,
can
but you're
attest
about
to the
to go back
fact
to
of that.
Skull. I mean, it's not unreasonable that you could have connections there that could, help that whole process along.
Why Edith? Why a random woman in town?
She's not really a random
if I
woman,
could
though.
just steal from
She's
anybody.
just a very bubbly and bright woman. Really, kind of everyone in the town knows who she is because she's so wonderful, right? So
She
she's
was.
not nobody.
She was. But
Right,
by the
but I'm
time that
saying
this
up until that
disease
point.
has afflicted her, she's been sobbing like a mad woman nearly every night.
Well, wouldn't you? I mean, look at her. You've seen her. Look at that state. No one deserves that. Of course.
It was not you're misascribing the order of the events. First, she was besought with this incredible sorrow, and then this disease started to take hold of her.
Okay. Another question for you. Get the picture. Get the picture. Get the picture.
Cover the name.
Cover the name.
Cover the name, Tyrion.
Alright, show her.
Who's this?
A handsome man I'd like to meet.
Okay, she doesn't know who he is either.
You've got no fucking idea who this is.
Do we actually know she doesn't know? I mean,
Am
Were you
I
an insight
supposed to?
Yes,
What?
you're supposed to.
He's supposed to know his name. Everyone in the town knew his name, and now that we come back, no one seems to know who he is.
You can make an insight check if you'd like.
Yes.
like we don't make an insight check
I
about
will
anything
push
she
the
just
yes
said except
button.
for this.
Do you know Gallon?
20.
This is the
Do
most
you know
important
the
part of this
Gallon
whole
man?
thing.
She is telling the truth. She has no idea who she's talking
Oh
who
my
that is.
gosh, dude. They truly believe it. Unreal.
I fail to see the relevance, and I am getting tired. I woke up tired, but can we wrap this up?
Okay, one more thing. Do you remember what happened the night that we got to town? With the whole hubbub? You weren't there, I know, but I'm sure you've heard about it. Where the rats attacked the
Rats
town and all of
attacked.
these?
Yes, yeah, I remember
Okay, so
that.
you remember that. You remember this event.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know why that event was being held?
No, I imagine it was just some party for one of the townsfolk, probably a birthday.
I see. Maybe my first theory was right. Maybe Gallon's the fucking boogeyman. I don't.
That man right there, is that the Gallon? Is that the boogeyman? He certainly does not look like a boogeyman.
No, I don't rightly know what the fuck's going on in this town. Something's messed up. That's for damn sure.
Well, for me, things are going quite okay. I hope things go better for that Edith girl, and if she survives my trip to Skull, I'll make sure to send some salves and better remedies her way,
Okay,
along with what I'm
one-
going to do for
One more
Nettles.
question. One more. How much is he paying you?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, why not?
I don't feel like it's necessary.
Okay, how about this? What is he paying you in?
Are you asking if I'm being paid in green marks or gold coins?
Yes, I am.
I don't think this is a relevant conversation.
Well,
That's
that's
an
fine. You
answer
just
in
answered the
itself.
question. We already know that green marks are worthless.
If you really want to know, Nettles and his investment in me is going to pale in comparison if things work well in Skull. So
Yeah, I
it's
know,
really
I
not
know.
that.
If you got some magic bullshit that makes you look like you're fucking 21 years old when you're 80, of course it's going to be worth a lot of money. I'm not the moron.
80. I'm 37.
Same thing to me. Humans die young. Anyway, like I said, this is all very interesting. You can go fuck yourself. Goodbye. I'm gonna-
I can tell who I'm not going.
You're going to have to
Writing
forgive
in
the
my-
lad.
Thankful speech.
We appreciate your information, as sparse as it was.
Well, I hope you can figure out what's going on in I'm sure.
Right, well, I hope that we can too, because you're clearly affected by it.
What
Anyways.
happened 4 days ago? That's the best clue you could give us. What happened 4 days ago?
What happened 4 days ago? I don't. The woman just went mad.
Not her, you. What happened to you 4 days ago? Everyone said you started getting a new lease on life 4 days ago. She went mad 4 days ago. What happened to
Call
you?
it positive thinking. I don't know. I worked
You?
with the green blood that I had. I saw what awesome effects it could potentially bestow upon its imbiber, and I have been encouraged. What more must I say? Seems like the answer's nothing. So
No,
kindly,
yeah.
Or
if
we'll
you
leave you
would,
to your headache or whatever it's afflicting you. I hope it's not the beginning of whatever happened to Edith, but we'll be seeing you around, Miss Sasha. Perhaps we'll see you if we ever make our way up to Skull.
I certainly hope not. But if we do, goodbye.
Goodbye.
You guys head off the ship.
Yes.
Tasha
Wow.
in tow.
Wanna see you next Thursday.
Not sure I understand what you're on about there, Ballywick. But
We still have an hour.
we'll press on. Forget to check out this farm, or whatever is going on over at the, not the Nettles, who the hell are those guys? The Yams farm.
Oh, I see.
I see what you're saying.
I don't.
It spells.
You said
something.
cunt.
Oh. Now we can't put this on.
Oh, I will anyway.
I'm kidding. Nobody watches this stuff. All right.
Not like there's ads playing on it or anything.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you guys want to go check out farms now? Is that your intent?
Didn't we want
no,
to talk to
we need
Nettles
to
at some
we
point?
need to talk to Nettles.
We can talk to
Yeah,
Nettles.
I
And
think
before we
I forgot
talk
that we
to
actually
Nettles,
had to do that.
we need to talk to ourselves. Amongst ourselves, I mean.
Alright, well, I'm looking for a moment to be able to get away from the town a bit and blow on this whistle. I think we're going to need to talk to this
Blow on this whistle.
force.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing.
I don't think I'm gonna let you get that one aside.
I'll,
That's what he
hor-
says
I'll
when he goes to
horribly-
beat his meat.
Horribly attempt to whistle with my fingers that I am totally unskilled with.
Never heard the expression.
Make a deception check.
Wet your whistle.
Just walk away.
16 or 15 if that's with disadvantage.
Ooh, that's a pretty good roll. She kind of waits for a couple more moments. I'm not entirely convinced, but if you guys need a moment to speak alone, I understand.
Where the fuck
I
did
kind
she
of
come
need
from?
to. She's been with you the whole time.
I forgot that
Yeah.
she's following us.
Oh,
yeah.
she said
Yeah.
she. I thought she said she didn't feel comfortable doing it, so I thought
She
went alone.
she didn't feel comfortable leading the questioning, but she was watching you guys do this the whole time.
Okay.
Oh, I did not know that.
I can
Well, then,
certainly see.
what did you
that
think
there's-
about that? It's fucking weird, right?
Her
that woman?
behavior is odd, but I don't think that there's any clear connection that we can make besides happenstance of time. And like she did say, this bout of sorrow did come upon her first. That's what people have been saying. And then this disease took her second. I'm going to go investigate this woman myself. I haven't been to her. They haven't asked. They didn't want me there. The general distrust your people have of Knights of Karn maybe have hindered my abilities to help her. If I had known this affliction earlier and was able to help, perhaps things would have been different. I'm going to go do that, and I will meet back with you at Nettle's house, or would you prefer me to wait at the inn? I'm trusting you, and you all sound like you have good intentions for this town. I do not doubt that. So I'm okay with you taking the lead on this and me providing as much assistance as I can.
All right.
I'd
I
love
think
to
our
have you come with us to
conversation
the
with
farm.
Nettles should probably be just us, because you're employed by him, I think. Kind of.
Yes?
We're employed by him. And I think I have an issue with our employment.
That's fine. Belinda, you had something that you wished to say.
Oh no, I want your presence when we go investigate the farms, if that would be all right. But I would like you to see Edith, if you may. It's rather strong. As a side note, she was healed with some magic, and what you will find is what she's like after that.
I can certainly investigate further. I intend to. Well, then, this is where we'll part ways, and then I suppose I will meet with you back at the Bog Bottom Inn, and we will discuss what we found. Seem reasonable?
Aye.
Then let us depart. And with that, we'll take a quick fiver. So
Okay.
let's come back at 10, 12, or just 12. 12 minute
Sure thing.
minute
I'll
hand.
be right back then.
Be right back.
Good bit of intrigue going on here, boys.
At the 12-minute hand, huh? That's a while.
$12? No, that's 5 minutes, bro.
I'm confused. Whatever.
I mean, he says minute hand, which is confusing because the 12-minute hand is on. It's not really a thing, but
Yeah, I thought he meant like when the minute hand's on the number 12, which is in
and
An hour.
yeah. I see what you're saying.
Back.
Ooh.
That went a lot quicker than I thought.
You're late.
I'm back.
Just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
Back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right.
Roll
Have you
call?
guys decided? Is everyone back? I imagine.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I never left.
I never left.
Loser.
Have you all decided what you were? Did you guys talk at all, or?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. So before you guys kind of
I
part
think we do
ways
want to
with
talk to Nettles.
I only heard
Tasha,
from a couple people, I thought. Is everybody actually here?
Are we
sounded like
saying-
Theo said she was
Is
Is
back.
Jetsam here? Is Belinda Draconis here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I think we were talking about nettles, and then there's eventually the plan to get the spiders, but I did want to get her with us when we go to handle possibly dangerous spiders or farmland.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sounds
Um,
like a plan.
Before you part ways, and as you guys are starting to like make your way to go to Nettles, and she's going to go see Edith. Story pips up, who's still here, still around. So, I think I'm gonna get on that boat and go up to Hammondsport. It's not that I'm not interested in all this. It's just that I've got all these letters. And he holds out a stack of just a thick binder of letters. And I really need to get these to the postmaster so I can talk to my family. I'll probably be back at some point, but I really feel like I've got to get going and send these. They're gonna start to worry.
Okay.
I'll
All right,
I'll
Mr.
find
Story, it's been a pleasure.
I'll find out what's happened with Brent. Well, this all happens, and I'll make sure Carver doesn't kill him or anything.
Oh, sounds good.
Sure, we'll be seeing each other again.
Well, I certainly hope so. I'll see you then.
See you.
Bye. But do you need any of my recipes or anything like that before I go? How to cook? I was
You got
doing
them
most
all
of it.
written down just for us to have right now.
Well, I kind of thought. And he hands you some recipes. It's very terrible handwriting. Yep, misspelled words.
Very okay.
You wonder about the content
Dwarven
of
hieroglyphics.
of those letters.
Yeah, okay.
Some of it is pictures.
All right. Thanks.
like-
I'm like thumbing through them and making faces like, what the fuck is that? All right, Mr. Story, I'll have to give these a try. Appreciate you.
Gives you a nod. Nice dwarven handshake. I'll see you.
Safe
Bye.
travels.
He turns back to get on the boat.
Well, I think we should
Uh,
head off to Nettles then.
think we should have a quick little chat amongst ourselves.
Right. Sure, what did you have in mind?
Well, I kind of just wanted to know what everyone's thinking. It's pretty clear at this point that Nettles doesn't have this town's best interest at heart. He's paying that woman with real gold money for help with his wife, which, I get it. It's fair. But it seems like he's not using his own money but the town's, and he's having us do quests for her, and then she's just free to go off. I think we need to have a chat with this guy and see what's going on. And then the other thing is, I don't know. Do we really want to trust these Knights of Karn folk?
At this point, you guys are moving towards Nettle's house, and you're no longer near Tasha.
I don't really trust the knights as far as I can throw them, but if they can be of use to us in the town, then I guess we can use them as the resources. But I don't think we should give them very much sensitive information if we can avoid it.
I somehow missed that woman was at my back during our interrogation.
She had a way of blending in.
I'm also curious if Nettles remembers Gallon.
That's a fair point.
Well, I think it's fair to say at this point that it's pretty telling if we run
what if he
into
does?
anyone who remembers
I feel
him.
like if he does remember... Oh, the other thing
Right,
is...
that's my point. If somebody remembers him at this point, I think it's safe to say that there's something up with that person.
I don't know. There's some weird madness afoot.
Aye. Almost blew the old cover there with not noticing her like you said there, Mr. Holgren, but I think we should blow this whistle at some point when we're away from the rest of the townsfolk.
You think so?
Well, I'm not sure that we're gonna get any much leads from anything else about what afflictions are befalling the town. And if she's already here casting her haze over it, then it can't hurt to talk at least, I suppose. That's my thoughts anyway. But
you
We'll at least have information, I'm sure.
Right,
if you all
I'm
think
hoping
that's best, then...
Well, I don't really know what's best, if I'm honest. I'm just kind of thinking about options. And I'm not saying we have to do that first or anything. I just think we should do it at some point. Preferably before Edith's affliction progresses too much further.
Yeah,
Assuming we
can't
don't
let
find
that girl
anything else
die.
out. I do think there's something special about that one, keeping the town afloat.
What are we gonna say to this Nettles guy? I mean, I think he... I mean, we got to be careful, I suppose, because I suppose he has the right to kick us out of town or something and stop paying us.
Well, we can be a bit subtle
really being
about
paid
it
anymore.
I mean, maybe we can just start off with asking him who Galen is.
Maybe someone else should take the lead. I don't know that I can keep my head on. Real pissed off at this feller.
Well, we can do the talking. If you're not up for it, that's not the problem. I can talk to the man as well. But other than asking him questions about kind of what's been happening here and what's going on with everyone up and leaving at this point, I'm not really too sure what I would ask the man.
Well,
other than anything
my
about
only
Edith.
thought is it's possible he's a good guy and he just is so enamored with the afflictions of his wife that he doesn't even realize what the fuck's going on in this town. And maybe if we wisen him up to it, he'll be not such a slug.
Well, we can go in with a bit of lack of assurances, I should say. We could ask him if he's noticed anything about the town, not act like we already know. See if he can accidentally overplay his hand or something, if he's got something to hide.
That's a good idea. I think you should go for
Anyone
that.
have anything else they think we should bring up to Mr. Nettles before we get there?
The afflictions affecting Edith are
Right, yes, we'll definitely be bringing that one up.
if they spread.
If what spreads? The affliction?
Yes, there's nothing to say that it couldn't.
Sure. Yeah, we can ask him if he's heard of anyone else had, if he knows about that with Edith, we can ask him if he's heard of it affecting anyone else.
And Holgrim's got a point on the pay too. I mean, that's what we're all here for, right? And we're essentially getting nothing.
It was week by week pay, or was it like a? I don't know if we're due for payment yet.
Week.
So
weekly.
It was like 400 green marks a week.
But I think the leverage
Yes.
of knowing that lady got paid in real gold.
Right.
Maybe we could
Yes.
get something.
We can definitely use that, but we can. Let's not overplay our hand right off the gate. Let's play a little bit coy at first, and then
Aye.
reveal our hand slowly. Get him to let on about a little bit more on accident if we can. I think this is a good plan.
Go for it.
Unless anyone else has anything they would think we should ask, in addition to all these things, I think we can start heading up to the house, or the manor, or whatever.
That sounds fine. Let's go.
I'll just nod.
Alright, we'll head up to the manor.
Okay. Alright. You guys head up to Nettles Manor, and along the way you see the now abandoned alchemist's hut of Sasha Aberna.
Yep, okay.
It still looks like graves around. It's pretty fucked up. But yeah. You guys run up to the manor, knock on the door a few times. Old peg leg Nettles makes his way to the door. It's not really. He doesn't really have a peg leg, but kind of. He opens up and says, "Oh,
Mr.
Finally.
Nettles, here we are.
Finally. Can't remember what Nettles sounded, but I do know that he sounded old. So hello."
Hello, Mr. Nettles.
Do
We
for
just thought
something.
we'd to stop on by and let you know that we've returned triumphant and having completed our task that you set out to give us.
I heard as much from Sasha Aberna.
Alright.
Come
Yes.
on in. Sit down.
Very well then. Move in and sit down at his accommodations.
A drink then. But
It's
anyway,
be my pleasure.
I know it's a bit early, but it is good that we have accomplished so much in so little time. Although I can't say that things are going particularly well in the town.
Right, we kinda noticed, walking back into the town. Seems a bit, things have changed and are a bit different these days, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, put it lightly.
You have any idea what's going on with that? We haven't been able to glean any information from any of the citizens about anything that may have caused this or anything else. Is there anything that you've seen that might be the culprit?
People are talking of dark dreams. I don't believe in such superstition that
Dark
negative
dreams.
energy.
They
Good
say
cause.
anything specific?
Just sinister happenings in such dreams as they'd not experienced before. I felt the same presence. But there's some times where they feel more grand than usual. A spot of hope. But I'm not sure. Violent, I would say, at the very least. Hopefully it's not a foretelling of anything to
And when
come.
did these dark dreams start? Just after we left, or a few days in?
Well, some account it to Miss Edith's affliction. They say that once she lost her life, town lost its life. I suppose that's as good an answer as any.
Right, we had stopped by and witnessed her unfortunate affliction. Have you heard of anyone else in the town succumbing to similar afflictions? Or is it just Edith?
No, I rightly haven't heard anything that would indicate someone else is suffering the same way that she is. Fear that she's got some type of disease now as well.
Alright, we surmised as much.
Apart
That's
from that,
something we'll be working on when we can.
please do. She was.
We think she's rather important to the town, but
like I was saying, I want to get this out just real quick. There is talk from Yam's clan that Yams himself is not his usual chipper self. He's kind of melancholy and distant.
he's changed too.
Yeah. He's not sorrowful like what's been going on with Edith, but he's different. I rightly know I haven't seen him.
But truth be told, I think we're gonna head up there anyway. We'd heard that there might be some kind of abomination plaguing his farm, so I'm sure we'll check him out when we make our way up there later tonight.
The 2 nights that Tasha and Carver didn't find him.
Well,
But feel free to investigate.
perhaps we can be a bit more thorough.
Yes, please do.
Now, there's
It's
also
my
a bit of a
understanding that them 2 are leaving town as well.
well.
Found some fella stole something from some governor. Well, some governor. The governor of Hammondsport.
Yes, they seem to have apprehended a suspect in some supposed crime that they're out here bounty hunting.
It's a shame. I
They're
thought they were
leaving
going to
and,
stick around longer.
Be a little bit remiss if I didn't mention also that it looks like the alchemist is leaving as well. You aware of this?
Yes, Sasha feels like she's completed her work. Well, what she intended to accomplish. She said that she feels like she can be a better use to my wife in Skull.
I fail to see how that can possibly be the case, but if you feel that you are in agreement, then to each their own, I suppose.
It wasn't as though I had a large fortune to spend on this. I'm just the mayor of Fairmire, and what I took from that dragon's hoard was not particularly pricey. My purchasing of Sasha's services was
But certainly you have the
a
vast
gamble.
coffers of the Regent Company at your disposal, do you
No.
not?
No. I don't have vast coffers of anybody at my disposal. I've spent almost the entirety of my wealth on this gamble on Sasha. Hiring an alchemist to come down and spend many months researching for potential cures to what ails my wife after I'd already spent thousands of gold on my wife searching for prophets and clerics, all sorts of natural healers. Nothing worked. So,
Well, at the very least, your dedication to your wife can never be brought into question. That is a noble pursuit, by any means. But I must ask about our payment, of course. Purely a business matter, you understand?
yes. Well, you have accomplished what Sasha set you out to do, which is hopefully going to come back at me in a good way. I don't rightly remember what I was going to pay you to begin with, so
500 green marks an hour.
I don't think it
An
was that.
hour.
What my young lad here meant to say is that you are going to pay us 20 coins each for the week's work.
That sounds right, but I'll toss in a bonus, as it seems you collected what you needed to. Let's say 50 green marks to each of you. for your week's service.
About that, if you don't mind, Mr. Nettles, if perhaps it could be amenable to you, since, as you've stated before, the green marks and gold are ubiquitous in Fairmire. Could take a small pay cut, say our original agreement with no bonus, 20 gold coins each for our work. We would much prefer the hard coin.
Well, after what you've done, I suppose I could part with a few gold coins. But that'd be from my personal supply. I'll make a compromise. How about 10 gold pieces to each of you? And 40 green marks, like we discussed. There's a difference of 10.
You're driving a hard bargain there. I don't know if I like the number going down below our original agreement there, Mr. Nettles.
Not what he said.
I'm paying you more.
Oh, did I
And
mishear? You said
I'm
10.
giving you 10 gold coins and 40 green marks.
Yeah, okay. So I think the green marks are worthless, so...
They'll spend just fine in Hammondsport.
I'll just
Parentsport.
look to the party and kind of gauge their reactions. Does anyone seem like they don't want
I
to do that?
personally will accept.
Okay, well, if he accepts, then I'll hear Holgrim exclaim that he'll accept it and be like, "We'll take the deal then. That seems more than fair."
Yeah.
Good negotiating.
Well, he said it out loud, so
He works about a safe underneath his desk, collects the coins and the marks, sets them out. I remember that there was another dwarf. Where did he go?
Oh, he's he's accompanying the knights, because we think that captive they had might be connected to some things, so he's investigating. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Well, then I suppose this payment, if I hand it to you, will reach him.
Sure.
He lays out Story's portion as well.
We did have
Nice.
We did have another question for you.
So to be clear, we all gain 10 gold, and the party has 40 green marks. Is that correct?
No, I think we each got 40.
You
green marks.
each get
Each
40 green marks. Yeah.
Ooh, all right, cool. I definitely missed that part. That's a lot more money than I thought. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Show him that poster, would you? We're investigating this fellow. Do
Kyrian,
you know who
remember
he
to
is?
cover the name.
Or have you seen him?
What is this man's name, Nettles? Can you recollect it? Sure.
No, I can't rightly say I've seen such a handsome man in all my days.
Never.
No.
Okay.
That surprises me, Nettles. Because do you know who that is in reality? That's the man that we replaced as guardians of this town. Wasn't but a week ago.
Is that right? He kind of picks up a big book in front of him, starts flipping through the pages till he gets to something interesting. Oh. So you're saying that that's Gallon?
Right, you have the name Gallon there in your ledger. You must, because if that's your payroll, you're the one who paid him for some time before we arrived.
Yeah.
Apparently,
For a
he'd been
long
guardian
time.
over this town for a long time. There's no
Yeah.
way anyone could reasonably forget that man.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's another matter we're investigating. It seems to have befallen the town after we left.
How? I can't
Well-
recall him at all. Sound of his voice, what it looks like. I can't believe he looked just as good as that, but
Can I ask you another question? Are there any details of time before the last week that you can recall clearly in your mind? Anything interesting happened a month ago, for example, before we arrived? Can you tell me of anything that happened that long ago?
Well, I remember being invited to parties, not going. I mean, it's been relatively slow the past few months.
But my point being that you have those memories, is that right?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
I remember hiring Sasha. I remember putting out posters to get more people in town that need help. I remember hiring you, obviously. You're a lot. And I remember being told that the Knights of Carnival were going to come help us out. Yes, I do remember things from the time before.
Thank you.
Nils, do your higher ups at the what do you call it?
The Regent Company?
The Regents Company. You have those, I assume.
Yes.
Would they have records kind of like this?
Yes, they would. And honestly, it says here that Gowan was heading south to investigate disappearances. Even goes so far as to say that strange disappearances in the sense that members, the people who was going missing, family members, loved ones, that sort of thing. That the people who knew him best, they forgot him.
Why?
And now this man, Gowan, whom I supposedly know pretty well, is paying him quite a bit of money. I don't know him at all. This is not good.
No, most certainly is not. There's a lot of fucked up shit happening in this town. So, just remember that next time you pay me. You should talk to those people, your higher ups, I think, because maybe at some point you talk to them about Gallon and see if they remember him. So that way we know if it's just the people in the town who forgot him, or if it's fucking everyone.
Well, by my count and my records, Gallon wasn't just some nobody when I got him. I was paying him pretty good to begin with. I would say that this is worth a trip. But
Meaning what?
I don't necessarily want to go. Well, someone's got to tell Regions about this. At least captains in some city. I don't rightly care which one you go to. You could head north to Hammondsport, but it seemed to me to make more sense to head south to Parentsport. And
But if we leave, who's going to look after the town? I mean, last time we left, we came back and found it in complete and utter disarray.
Yeah, that was just yesterday.
It might be worse.
well, at worst, what we have so far is Edith is very ill. That is not good. But hopefully, Sasha can get that figured out. And if she can't,
I don't think she will. I think she's leaving. It's literally like right now.
She does not intend to figure it out at all.
But
She's
it
already
is
gone,
our
I think.
one of
I
our
know that
highest
she's
priorities.
leaving. I know that she's leaving, but she's heading to Skull, and Skull has the best healers.
I don't
Anyway.
think it's her priority, Mr. Nettles, if I'm honest.
And I don't think Edith is going to last that long.
Right, that's probably the more pressing matter. We got to her, and apparently she'd been afflicted by this for about 4 days by the time we saw her, just as we came into town.
Sounds
And
right,
it
from what I understand.
seems that her affliction has progressed pretty rapidly. Something we'll have to solve in the next few days, or it
If that is the
doesn't
case,
bode
then
well.
I don't rightly know that you're going to have any luck. What are you going to go do?
We'll have to come up with something. We just got back, you have to understand. We're kind of assessing the situation in the town.
We were going to go check out Mr. Yam's farm because the thing he described, supposedly, we didn't hear it from him himself, we most certainly encountered when we were out doing this little errand. And they were nasty motherfuckers.
Right,
They'd
honestly.
They'd kill, if any one of us was less a man, we'd be dead.
Just the two of them took out almost our entire party on their own. I must say, it was a harrowing experience.
You do look a bit worse for wear. But even still, is this... It sounds like it is an immediate threat, but perhaps if we pull back, bring people into the town, we can keep them safe for a little bit longer. But Edith, she probably didn't come into contact with one of these creatures, I wouldn't imagine. Unless they've got some type of venomous bite.
But we do want to take care of this creature if we can. Sorry.
That is for sure. They absolutely have venom. I collected some of it myself. I don't know that it's necessarily what ails her. It seems unlikely, but I suppose it could be.
This is a bit much. Things have gotten out of hand in this last week. It seems like we've lost someone very important to us, and looking at this ledger, it seems we have.
If I may ask, you probably have no fucking idea. Do you have any... does it say in there who thought it was best for Galen to leave? Or is that something you would have ordered, potentially? Or is it possible someone above you wanted him to go down there, or something?
It's not exactly the rankings. He's more on the militaristic side of this company, Regent. And they have their own thing going on. I used to be there. He would have received an order from one of the high captains in any one of the towns. Now, considering he went to the south, I would imagine that someone in Perrin's Port requested aid. And they felt like Galen was a good fit.
Well, I think that the fact all this is happening as soon as he left means that there's a setup of some sort, no? Like, it doesn't seem right. It's like they wanted to lure him away so that they could, for some purpose. I don't know who they is, by the way, just saying. So, I don't know.
It
would
possible.
seem that way to me.
I don't think that Fairmire is a small town. Isn't much here. So I don't understand why this would be happening to us. There's no machinations that I can imagine that people would have for this town. We don't have a particularly large bit of bog iron or wealth in any capacity, so I'm not sure what's the point.
I'm not really sure either, but...
I do know that my people are struggling, and I know that I hired you to keep them safe. So I'm asking you to do that, if you would be kind enough to do it.
Well, what would you have us do? You think us going down south is the best course of action?
I don't rightly know. I mean, it seems to me that whatever caused this Gallon fella to
drop off the map would be a problem. But then got Edith, got these creatures, venomous creatures that you talked about. I'm not sure where best to send you. I suppose, being as you are hired to protect the town, it's kind of on your hands. And you can choose to do as you see fit with it. I'm not going to tell you where to go specifically. I can give you information if you need it, but I don't know how else best to help.
Potentially, we could deal with the monsters on the farm within a day. That seems like.
I think our plan is to do so, or investigate it at least right after this.
It wouldn't do much good for us to go off seeking grander things if the moment we left, people started getting attacked by those creatures. We'd return to find everyone dead.
Yay.
That's
I
not
think so.
ideal.
So let's do this. We're going to go ahead and investigate this thing at the Yams farm. If you want to collect everybody into the inner parts of the town for safety, if you want. That's not necessarily a bad idea. But
Do you feel I should make that call now, or should I wait until you come back from your report? Or if you don't come back, then I definitely should.
I'd say that's really up to you. But
I have an idea, maybe.
go ahead, Mr. Holgram.
I don't know. This might sound stupid or something, but can you tell the town you're like making a? I don't know. Tell them you're making something or you're doing something, so you want to get like a journal or something, like a big notice, like can come up with some way to get the townspeople to write some things down that they do, or like maybe say you're making like a scrapbook of the town or something. Have everyone write about their family and put it in a book. That way, if we come back and you guys have all forgotten everything we got, I don't know, something like that. But maybe without telling them the truth, because you probably don't want to put them into a scare. I don't know.
Are you fearing that more people are going to forget their loved ones?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't expecting to come back and find that none of you knew who the hell that guy was.
We're honestly learning more details as time goes on. We're not 100% sure on anything yet, but we're learning a bit more as time goes on. We'll keep you apprised.
Please do.
And maybe you should make a note. Do you have something you look at every day?
Kind of thumps the book in front of him.
Okay, well maybe you should make a note on it or something that you should, like, every morning remember that you forgot about Gallon.
Remember that you forgot something. That's a hilarious statement. But I also think he should write it down.
What is Gallon?
Because that way, maybe it'll come back to you at some point.
How is Gallon?
We could even have our young lad here make a sketch of the man's face for you if you want in your ledger here.
Sure, that's fine. We'll do that.
Alright, I'll draw another one.
If you think this man is so important, I mean, clearly he was help to us, and I'm sorry that his memory is gone. I fail to see the connection in any of this.
Well, he seemed like the man that was holding the spirits of the town together when he was here.
I don't know that there is a connection. I'm sure there is of some kind, but it's more like I didn't think he was very important till I came back to town and nobody knew who the fuck he was. Now that seems important to me. Why him specifically? And why is the woman? I guess we left this part out with. Him and Edith were a right couple. They're to be like married or something. I don't know. So the fact that she's the one who's ails while he's gone, there's something fishy about that too.
Wait,
Yeah.
how would we
Certainly all
know if we
seems
forgot about
connected.
somebody else?
Stop.
I guess the DM would just have to decide. You forget who this person is. That'd be so weird, though.
I think you could do that.
I'd play it. I'd play it up, but it's just kind of a funny thing. Did you finish that sketch yet, there, lad? I think we should get to
Mhm.
this farm before we lose all
Yeah.
the light of the day.
It's a lot quicker the second time.
Just slap it over some more parchment. Well, best of luck to you then. I hope that this goes well. We're counting on you. We really are.
I suppose we'll be off then.
Well, we'll be off, as you say. Got a job to do.
All right. As you guys step out into the warm day and sun, task at hand, headed north to Yam's farm to check for spiders. We'll pick it up there next week. Not next week. 2 weeks from now.
Next time.
Next session. But
Alright.
Okay.
there we go.
That was a good one.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.